Hey guys, today I wanted to update our 2020 Senate map based on the newest polling averages that have come out of the states, and the Senate races are constantly changing. Currently, the Democrats have 47 seats in the United States Senate to the Republicans with 53. They currently do control a majority of the Senate at this moment, and they have had control of the Senate since 2010, I believe. The last time the Democrats won a Senate election was all the way back in 2008 with the election of Barack Obama. So I'm just going to do this in alphabetical. I'm trying to do this as quickly as I can just because there are a lot of races to get through. I'm pretty sure there's around 35 races. Yes, 35 races that we have to get through. So that's going to take a while. So starting off with the state of Alabama, Tommy Tuberville leads by 10% here. He is the Republican, and he is not the incumbent. Doug Jones is the incumbent. He was appointed back in 2016, I believe, and Alabama is a very Republican state, so Doug Jones really didn't have too much of a chance here. So Tommy Tuberville leads by 10 points in his race, so that's going to be a likely state for the Republicans. Following the state of Alabama is the state of Alaska. Dan Sullivan leads by only 2% against independent Al Gross, so that is a big hit on the Republican Party. They are only leading by 2 points in a race in the state of Alaska. And in the state of Arizona, honestly, an even worse showing for the Republicans. This would be the first flip for the Democrats. Mark Kelly leads by 15 points against Martha McSally right now. So that is actually going to be a likely state. Mark Kelly is going to win his race with a solid margin over Republican incumbent Martha McSally. She took office in 2019 after the death of John McCain, and I don't think she's going to win her first 6-year term here in the state of Arizona. Honestly, she has no chance right now, and honestly, I think this is going to be a big blow to her political career. I think the Republicans really screwed her over here. I don't think she should have been appointed, and I don't think she should have accepted it. I think she could have definitely won a race in the future, but against Mark Kelly is doing very well. He is almost definitely going to outperform Joe Biden here in Arizona. Following Arizona is the state of Arkansas. There's no data out of Arkansas, so that's just going to be a yellow state. I'm going to fill in all of these no data states after. And for those of you that don't know how I make my classifications, solid is plus 15 or more, likely is plus 7 to 15, lean is plus 2 to 7, and then tilt is plus 0 to 2. So those are my classifications I'll be using in this video. Following the state of Arkansas is the state of Colorado. John Hickenlooper leads by 9% here. It's going to be another flip for the Democrats in a likely state, taking away the seat that Cory Gardner won all the way back in 2014. Gardner honestly not doing too well. I think the Republicans should give up this seat. Hickenlooper is the very popular governor of the state of Colorado, ran an unsuccessful presidential campaign, but is very well known and very popular in the state of Colorado among both Democrats and Republicans. Next, the state of Delaware. Chris Coons is no data out of this state, but Chris Coons is expected to win his race here in Delaware, a Democratic senator from this very Democratic state. We have the two races from the state of Georgia. First, I'm going to talk about the just normal Georgia Senate race between Jon Ossoff and David Perdue, who is the incumbent. Currently, Ossoff leads by 1 point over David Perdue. On average, very close race here in Georgia, so it's going to be in the tilt Democratic column. While the Georgia Senate race, Kelly Loeffler, the special Senate race, Kelly Loeffler, the incumbent, leads by 4 points. She did only take office this year in 2020, but she is expected to win her race, unlike David Perdue, who is currently expected to lose his race in Georgia, but still very close. He can definitely take his race back. Following that is the state of Idaho. Jim Risch leads by 26 points. This is a new state. We didn't have polls out of this state previously. I think the poll in Idaho just came out today, but he leads by 26 points. Definitely a very solid red state. The state of Illinois, Dick Durbin leads by 16%, so it's going to be a blue state. In the state of Illinois, he's definitely going to win another 6-year term in the state of Illinois. Then the state of Iowa, Teresa Greenfield leads by 2 points over Joni Ernst right now. Joni Ernst is the Republican incumbent, while Teresa Greenfield is the Democratic candidate here in the state of Iowa. Greenfield is doing pretty well right now for a Democrat in a state like Iowa, so she leads by 2 points. It's going to be another flip and a tilt state in favor of the Democrats. Joni Ernst can definitely take this race back, but consistently she has been polling just 1 or 2 points behind Greenfield right now. And then the state of Kansas, Roger Marshall leads by 3 points over Barbara Bollier. Kansas, typically a pretty solid Republican state. However, the Republican senator here, the incumbent, is retiring. So Marshall is his Republican replacement. Boley is running against him. Boley is doing pretty well here, but Marshall is still in the lead right now, so it's going to be a lean state for the Republicans. Followed by that is the state of Kentucky. Mitch McConnell, he is the Senate Majority Leader, and this is his seat that he is defending right now. He is the second most unpopular senator in the entire country. He's by 6 points over Democrat Amy McGrath, and I think he's still going to win his seat. It's going to be a lean seat for Mitch McConnell. He has never been popular, so this is nothing new, but he has been able to win his races all the way back in the 80s is when he won his seat. So I think he's going to win his seat, however, not by the largest of margins. Following the state of Kentucky is the state of Louisiana. Bill Cassidy is the Republican incumbent. There's no data out of this state as well. And then the state of Maine, a lot of data out of the state of Maine, actually. Sarah Gideon, despite the large amount of polls, Sarah Gideon basically leads in every poll. She leads by 6 points on average over the bipartisan Republican Senator Susan Collins, who has held this seat all the way back in, she won her first race in 1996. And to put how close this race is for Collins into context, she won her last seat by over 34 points in 2014, and now she's losing to Sarah Gideon by 6 points. That is a 40-point swing in favor of the Democrats here in the state of Maine. The state of Maine does tend to like to elect bipartisan senators. It might be more of a Democratic state on the presidential level, but on the Senate level, it tends to choose both Democrats and Republicans. But Susan Collins, she did vote for the appointment of Brett Kavanaugh, as well as the acquittal of Donald Trump in his impeachment inquiry. So that is why the citizens of Maine are disapproving of her now. She used to be the most popular senator in the entire country, and now she has become the most unpopular senator. So definitely a fall from grace for Susan Collins here, and that's why she's losing her election right now. The state of Massachusetts, Ed Markey is going to win, but there's no data out of this state right now. But I think it's pretty interesting that Markey was able to fend off Joe Kennedy III. This would be the first statewide race that any Kennedy has ever lost in the state of Massachusetts. Definitely an embarrassment for him, but he was leading in most polls early on. However, in the last couple of weeks, Markey was able to win many endorsements, especially the endorsement from Elizabeth Warren, and he was able to take back his race. The state of Michigan, Gary Peter leads by 6%, so it's going to be a lean state for the Democrats here in Michigan. I think he's going to win his re-election. Minnesota, Tina Smith leads by 7 points. That's going to be a likely seat here in Minnesota. These are going to be pretty, not too solid for the Democrats, but are almost definitely going to go blue this time around. And then the state of Mississippi, Cindy Hyde-Smith leads by only 5 points over Mike Espy. 5 points. That's pretty good for a Democrat, only down 5 points in a state like Mississippi here in the deep south, followed by the state of Montana. Steve Daines currently leads over Steve Bullock, which I think is pretty surprising. Bullock had been leading for basically most of the election cycle, but Daines, after many Republican endorsements recently, has been able to take back this seat, so he is now up 3 points over Steve Bullock. So that's going to be a lean seat for Daines here in the state of Montana. He is the incumbent, and he is currently expected to win another 6-year term. And then the state of Nebraska, Ben Sasse is the incumbent, but there's no data out of this state currently. And then the state of New Hampshire, Jean Shaheen leads by a full 17 points. It's going to be solid. She really has no serious or strong Republican opponent here in the state of New Hampshire. Typically, this would be a close race. However, in 2020, it is not. And then the state of New Jersey, definitely safe for the Democrats. Cory Booker, a 2020 Democratic primary candidate for president, ran a pretty unsuccessful campaign. He was one of the not frontrunner, but just one of the more well-known candidates at the beginning, but his campaign really didn't surmount to anything at the end. Dropped out pretty early, but Cory Booker plus 24 points in his home state of New Jersey currently. And then North Carolina, Cal Cunningham leads by 7 points. It's going to be a likely state right now over Tom Tillis. Cunningham is doing very well in this race for the Democrats, so he is definitely doing his part in helping the Democrats regain control of the Senate right now. Followed by the state of Oklahoma. After North Carolina is Oklahoma. Jim Inhofe leads by 25 points here in Oklahoma, so he's definitely going to win his re-election. Very solidly red state. And then the state of Oregon, Jeff Markey is the incumbent, almost definitely going to win, but there's no data. Of course, we're going to fill in all of these yellow states after this. They're all pretty solid for either one party. And then the state of Rhode Island is next. Jack Reed is the Democratic incumbent, and he is expected to win, but there's no data out of this state currently. Not too much polling data out of the state of Rhode Island, but the state of South Carolina, there's quite a bit of polling data, a very contentious race here. Lindsey Graham, a senator that has been in the Senate since the 1980s, along with Mitch McConnell, I believe, he is only up 2 points against Jamie Harrison, who has already out-fundraised him, but he is still in the lead and expected to win his race. He's been a senator from the state for just such a long time, so it's going to be a tilt seat for Lindsey Graham here in the state of South Carolina. And then the state of South Dakota, currently Mike Rounds is the Republican incumbent, almost definitely going to win his race, but there's no data out of this state right now. The state of Texas, not Texas, Tennessee, Bill Hagerty leads by a full 22 points. That's going to be very solid for the Republicans. And then the state of Texas, John Cornyn leads by 7 points over MJ Heger. MJ Heger not going to see the Beto O'Rourke numbers from 2018, where he became within 2% of Ted Cruz. Cornyn's definitely going to outperform Cruz's margin here from 2 years ago, but he leads by 7%, so it's going to be a likely seat for Cornyn right now in the state of Texas. And then next, the state of Virginia, Mark Warner leads by 21% in the state of Virginia, so it's going to be a solid blue state. And then the state of West Virginia, Shelley Moore Capito currently is the incumbent, but there's no data out of this race currently, so it's going to be put in the yellow column as well. And then the state of Wyoming, currently the state of Wyoming, Cynthia Lummis leads by a margin. There's no polling data out of Wyoming, but Cynthia Lummis is almost definitely going to win her race here. And then I totally forgot about the state of New Mexico. Ben Ray Lujan currently leads by around 11% in the polls, so it's going to be a likely state. Sorry about that, totally forgot about New Mexico, totally skipped that state. But this is our 2020 Senate map based on the polling data with 10 states where there's no data, but these 10 states are either very solidly blue or very solidly red, so that's really going to give this map to either one party. So I'm just going to fill in the Republican states first. Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, of course, are very solid blue seats. Arkansas, Louisiana, all very solid, as well as the state of West Virginia, they are all very solidly red seats. But Oregon, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Delaware, some of the most liberal states in the entire country, those are all going to go solidly blue. So the Democrats currently are expected to win the 2020 Senate races with 52 seats in the United States Senate, to the Republicans with 48. So this is our new updated 2020 Senate map, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like on this video as well as subscribing to my channel. Really appreciate all of your support. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, along with any video suggestions you'd like to see from me in the future, and I will see you in the next video.